Welcome to Freeform Radio on the Freeform Network. You can follow us on Facebook at Freeform Network, on X at FFR Podcast. Remember to send your questions and suggestions to ffnquestions@gmail.com. Hit us up there with comments, requests, reviews. We'd like to read them. Again, the Freeform Radio, we have Danny.
Yes, sir, man. It's a little chilly outside. And you know what, man? Our buddy got one win yesterday, but Rex Grossman still got two playoff wins. So we'll see, man. We'll see who is the best man, best quarterback.
And we got Noel.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us for another one.
It's all good, Andy. I want to thank you for joining us. I hope everyone had a good Christmas, a good New Year. So it's a new year and same old Freeform Radio. So let's get going, man. We're gonna start off with Noel. Looks like he was busy watching some movies during the Christmas break. It looks like you watched Aquaman 2. I forgot that movie even had a sequel. So hit us up. How was Aquaman 2?
Yeah, man, I agree. A lot of people slept on this one, and rightfully so, as I will go into in a little bit. But yeah, this movie came out in 2023, so it is a couple years old, almost 3 years old, coming up later on this year. And I just wasn't in a hurry to watch it, man, especially considering what happened with DC, the direction they're going in, the sale of, all these properties and stuff. It's kind of disheartening for any person who grew up with comics, person who grew up with these characters. It's just one of those things that you don't want to see all the things you grew up with just kind of get, destroyed or used in a shameful manner. And it kind of felt like this was that Aquaman 2 with it, the whole Amber Heard situation prior to this releasing, it just kind of made me not even want to watch it. Seeing how people can get away with things, they have certain privileges and stuff, and other people can do the same thing, or maybe even lesser things that aren't even that bad. Maybe just words, right? Things that aren't even physical. It's just a word that they said, and they get canceled into oblivion and pretty much like treated like a leper and wanting to never have a career again. So all that stuff just kind of influenced me not wanting to watch this. And but I figured, I'm like, you know what? Let me give it an honest chance. Let me just truly watch it and without any kind of like bias towards it. So I did that.
Is this the lady that shit on Johnny Depp's bed?
Yeah.
Is that it?
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Allegedly,
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about allegedly. I think they said it in
It's been
court.
confirmed and documented.
Yeah, it's in the record.
I think so, man. Unfortunately, yeah. She did a lot of stuff. That's one of them, but she did a lot of bad shit. And
yeah, the name sounded familiar, and I'm like, where do I know this lady from?
yeah, the way they did Johnny was really dirty, and the way they kept her in her roles, like they pretty much, got rid of Johnny in Pirates of the Caribbean. They replaced him, and they said they weren't going to bring him back anymore, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of stuff happened to his projects, but Amber Heard was still kept on for this movie. So it just rubbed people the wrong way, and a lot of people didn't want to watch this. I think that's part of the reason why it didn't do that well. Right now, it sits at a 5.6 out of 10 on IMDb, 115,000 votes. So it's a lot of votes there, and a lot of people not liking it.
Yeah, I know this is about Aquaman, but Johnny Depp, he did some mean shit too. So I'm maybe not sufficient. He wasn't shitting on people's beds, but yeah, he did some heinous shit too.
Yeah, I would say there aren't totally. He's not totally blameless. It's
Right.
just it's nowhere near as bad, I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
It's nowhere near as evil or vindictive or conniving as Amber was. There's there's the pros and there's the minor leagues, right? And if Johnny is anywhere, he's in the minor leagues. Amber, she's pro. She's that elite Olympic level of evil, in terms of the marriage and what happened with them, and just the way she carries herself and just general life. But supposedly they cut out a lot of her scenes, and I wouldn't know because I don't have the director's cut or whatever. I just have what was released. And from what I saw, it didn't have much of her in it. It did have scenes of her, of course, but she's the wife of Jason Momoa in this. She's Aquaman's wife, and she has a child with him. So she's a wife and a mother in this movie. But despite that, there's really not too much with her in it. And aside from all that, putting all politics, all that stuff aside, the drama and all of it, the movie itself just was not that interesting. It wasn't that gripping. Um, I've seen better Fast and the Furious movies, honestly, than this one. And the amount of money that they throw at these movies is insane for what I think was presented, you know? So it was just one of those movies where I think I had higher expectations of it. $205 million budget. Some of the CG didn't look great. The dialogue was flat. They tried to make emotional scenes that were kind of like not hitting, and the major boss battle at the end, or what I would call the boss battle, the climax, the finale of it, was ended so fast and so abruptly that it didn't even give a chance to really have an impact. It's almost like, have you ever heard of One Punch Man?
The name is
No.
familiar. It's that cartoon, right?
Yeah, it's an anime where a character, he just punches one time and he kills the person or
I'm
defeats the
sorry,
person.
anime. It's not a cartoon. Well,
I'm not gonna get stuck up on it.
no. I hear you. But yeah, I think Noel Junior's showed me some of that stuff before.
And it just kind of felt like that. It felt rushed. The very end, they set up this guy to be super freaking powerful, and they give like all this backstory. Like, they it's like what is it called? It's this substance that's like in myth. It's like I forgot what the scientific name was, but it's essentially a form of energy, but it releases CO2 and it will heat up the planet if you use it too much. So they like hid it away so that people couldn't use it. And there's this like demon thing that uses it that's like his source of power. And so he uses the main villain of the first one to try to manipulate him into releasing him, the villain, right? And Jason Momoa is just trying to be a dad. He's just trying to do his thing, laid back and everything. His brother that he beat in the first one is still in prison, and he has to break his brother out of prison to help him fight this demon thing. And in fighting this demon thing, they beat it in like less than a minute. And it's just like, all that? I watched this for 2 hours for that? I'm like, I felt kind of just, and it's 2 hours and 4 minutes. Over 2 hours for 1 minute of action at the end that seemed cool, but it just like fell flat. And then I was like, all right, I get why they gave this a 5.6. It just didn't have that impact. It the moments that they wanted to seem more impactful, where they put like the music in, kind of like if you've ever seen Thor Ragnarok, there's moments where they put in like the Led Zeppelin music, and then you see Thor come out like a badass, and he does like some super crazy CGI, like powerful effect, and it just seems cool. It's impactful. You feel it. The music's going, the action's going. But this movie tried to do those things and failed. It did not work, and I wouldn't recommend it to anybody really. And it's not that I don't like some of the characters. It did have its moments. I do appreciate some of the actors in here, but it just didn't do it. Unfortunately, for the big budget that it had, it just didn't do it. And that's it. It is what it is. Do you think you guys will watch this one?
I barely watched the first one. And I know I had a lot of hype. It was okay. I wasn't like that. And then the whole like, yeah, the Amber Heard Johnny Depp divorce thing or whatever. And then I'm like, I'm done. Like DC, we all know the issues with their movie franchises since Marvel did that whole Marvel Universe thing. So they just weren't able to really get it going. And then they had so many changes on the top on the Warner Brothers side. They keep adding new bosses for DC. It was like a revolving door now. Who knows what they're gonna do now that looks like Netflix is gonna buy, or they're gonna control buy the Warner Brothers because the board back did not take the Paramount deal. So who knows how DC is gonna be handled going forward. But yeah, like the Blue Beetle and all that. Like I watched clips of it. I'm like, I have no interest in watching it. I didn't even watch Black Adam or whatever, and I wanted to watch that, and then I saw clips of it. I'm like, this is not good.
Yeah, to me, I watched this movie. I can't quite recall when or if it was like right after, but I did watch it, and yeah, I can't remember too much about it, to be honest. So I think that kind of bodes to how good this movie is. The only thing I remember was they were like in Greece or something. There was like a bunch of like Athens, I don't know what, and they were just like flying around destroying all these like little houses. And yeah, I can't quite remember too much except for that mantis looking guy that looked pretty cool. But yeah, I can't remember
But
too
isn't
much.
Mantis the first movie, if I remember, or
I
is he in the
So
second one?
or maybe I'm mistaken him, but there was like a mantis guy and he was like trying to kill him, unless I'm thinking of the first movie.
the first movie, the second one is a true sequel to the first one in the sense that the main villain of the first one, Mantis, like you said, he's trying to avenge his father's death. His father died drowned in the submersible ship they were in, and Mantis was able to escape, uses a suit, tries to fight Aquaman in the first one, loses. Aquaman spares his life, and instead of being like, okay, thank you for sparing my life, he's like, let me try to kill you and your whole family. And so he tries to do that again. And this time he uses that demon thing I was telling you about. It's like
Uh,
this, I forgot what they call it, coralculum or some mythical, like weird. I've heard it in video games. Like it's one of those materials that you pick up in a video game to use to make weapons. It's some weird, doesn't even matter, honestly. It's irrelevant. Um, but essentially, yeah, that's pretty much what happens. Mantis is in the second one as well, and he tries to use Aquaman's kid as well as a bargaining chip, or like a he like kidnaps him to try to sacrifice him to bring back this demon thing. It all falls flat, man. Unfortunately, but anyway, that's that, man. Moving on, The Covenant. Guy Ritchie's The Covenant came out the same year, actually, 2023. I'm kind of working in my backlog if you catch my drift here. 2023 was a couple years ago, but I haven't watched movies in a long time, so kind of catching up on all these older movies. And this one thankfully paid off. I actually really liked it. And I don't know if you guys are into like military movies, Black Hawk Down, Hacksaw Ridge, stuff like that, Dunkirk, all that, Saving Private Ryan. I can go on and on and on. I watched all those movies. I love a good military movie, and especially if it's done in a dramatic way with, good actors and good dialogue. I don't want just mindless gunshots and, people getting hurt. I want to see like a brotherhood. I want to see a theme. I want to see something going on. And this one had that. It pretty much is a story of a guy who has a debt, a life debt. When somebody saves your life, you owe that your life to that person that saved you. And so the character in this story, he's in Afghanistan, and this is right after like the attacks, 9/11 and all that. So they're out there to, you know, just bring justice, I guess. Find the culprits. Find the Taliban, and bring them to justice. And this person's team gets wiped out, and he's the only survivor because of an interpreter who he lives in Afghanistan. He knows the people. He's a former, let's say, like Tony Soprano's son. So it's like Tony Soprano's son who he grew up in this like mafia bit in the Middle East, right? And they sell heroin and they do all sorts of stuff. So he grew up knowing connections and knowing the people and being able to figure out who's a Taliban, who's not. And so this interpreter does more than just interpret. He's also like militarily trained and all that. So he saves Jake Gyllenhaal as the main character. He saved Jake Gyllenhaal's life, and this is based on a true story, by the way. So that's another thing to it, another element to it. And the thing is, all these people in Afghanistan that aided the military, the US military, they were promised visas, they were promised a lot of stuff. And of course, the US being the US did not follow through and they just kind of left them to die. And so Jake Gyllenhaal making it back home, being with his family, he cannot let go of the guilt that this guy is still over there with his own family too, hiding and just trying to survive another day. Because in helping Jake Gyllenhaal, this Afghanistani person, his name is Ahmed. Ahmed and his family are in hiding because they're highly wanted. They essentially betrayed their own people. That's the way the Taliban are looking at it. So they're like public enemy number one in the Afghanistanis, eyes. So Jake Gyllenhaal, he just feels like his soul is being crushed essentially. Every day that he's living is not really a day he's living. He's just kind of constantly in a circular motion of thinking, what about this guy's family? How can I enjoy time with my family when this guy's over here just trying to, survive another day? So he does everything in his power to go back there and save him. And I don't want to spoil the movie. I think I've already said a lot, but it's a really good movie. And I would recommend it. It's about 2 hours and 3 minutes, 7.5 out of 10, 200,000 votes, over 200,000 votes. Have you guys heard of this one?
I have not. It sounds interesting. I could always dig a good war movie, a good Band of Brothers, Saving Private Ryan, stuff like that. And I pulled it up because I had never heard of it, and it looks interesting. So definitely gonna put it on my watch list.
For sure, dude. What about you, Andy?
No, I haven't heard it. I don't know. Guy Ritchie's always made decent movies, so I don't know. I might check it out.
For sure, man. And yeah, this is another one of the Guy Ritchie movies that, was really successful. He's done a bunch of good stuff. So it's definitely one of those, if you, like Guy Ritchie's types of movies, Wrath of Man, Covenant, Gentleman, um, he even did Aladdin. I forgot about that. Wow.
Sherlock Holmes
Sherlock
with
Holmes,
Robert
both of
Downey.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah. And he's done, other movies with a lot of British actors. He did Revolver with Jason Statham, Snatch, Lock, Stock,
mm-hmm.
Two Smoking Barrels. He's done a bunch of, good British movies, but also now this one's, traversing into the just globally, it's not just British anymore. So definitely worth a watch. I actually highly recommend it if you like military movies. And real quick, I'll just finish it off here. I finally beat Horizon Forbidden West. Not the DLC, just the main story so far. But it was
Nice.
really exciting. I'm not gonna go into too much detail, just really quick, the story. It picks up after the first one, and in this one, he beats the main villain, and he's trying to bring back the AI that's helpful. And at the end of this one, there's going to be I believe, a third movie or a third game, and there's also going to be a DLC that I have to get through. So once I beat the DLC, I'll give you guys the full recap. But yeah, I finally did beat it, so just wanted to give that little shout out to Horizon. But moving on, guys, let's move it on over here to Daniel. Let's get you caught up on your week here. Looks like you watched another documentary. It says a Netflix documentary, Elway. Fill us in. What is this about?
Yeah, this is John Elway's documentary. There are some like legacy Hall of Famer quarterbacks, and this guy is one of them. I was never like a Broncos fan, so I just knew of him. And since he played pretty late into his career, I got to see some of that stuff. But yeah, the documentary was really cool. It kind of showed his whole journey from starting off going to Stanford, and then just his whole career. It went into stuff that I didn't even know, and I'm not like the most hardcore football fan, but I think I'm a good football fan. And they were talking about like the drive, and I don't know if you've even heard of that, Andy, but like the famous The Drive. I'm like, I never even
The
heard of that,
playoff
but
game.
yeah,
Yeah,
and they
I know.
and they kind of went into it, and so I was just like, oh, okay, interesting. And I guess it's like famous for this really big drive. But yeah, documentary was really cool, made by Netflix, not super long, and it just kind of goes into his career. It's kind of sad at the end. He was so like driven to win for the team that his family kind of crumbled a little bit behind him with his wife, his relationship. So they ended up getting divorced. But he's still close with his kids and now his grandkids. So at the end, it does have somewhat of a happy ending. You know, he comes out at the end and he shows his property, and now he's trying to enjoy it with his family and trying to use some of his legacy for that. But really cool documentary. Not sure if you heard about it, Andy, or even seen it.
I heard of it. Elway was he has a long history of like he was kind of difficult. He butted head with a lot of coaches until he got those two Super Bowls at the end. And then they made him, I don't know if he was GM or president of the Broncos,
Right.
and he was really not good at drafting players. And I think a couple years ago, I think before the pandemic, I think he left, or I don't know if he got fired or he just like, I'm out of here. Because it wasn't, he had, I think, the good Super Bowl run with the Peyton Manning, and I think that was it. And then he hasn't really been anywhere on NFL like radar, I guess I want to say. So yeah, I mean, but I know he had a good college career. He was highly sought. He had a good game. I think he had even a big game in college where the band went marching into the field or something, right? Did they talk about that?
Yeah, they did talk about
Yeah,
that, how the play was technically not over and the
yeah,
band started marching on the
yeah.
field.
And they won it or whatever. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, Elway, yeah, he's a Hall of Famer. Um, I just know he had a long run and he didn't win them till the end with the coach that went to our alma mater high school. So our high school, he went to Leiden. Um, I forgot his name, but yeah, and then they won it, and then he retired after winning the second Super Bowl, I believe. So yeah,
Yeah, very cool documentary. Especially right now since football season's in high. Um, it's at its peak right now, so
the playoffs.
it's yeah, with the playoffs going on right now. So it's really cool to watch. Enjoyed the documentary. You should go check it out there. I'm assuming you didn't watch this, Noel, but very interesting, even if you're not a football fan. So you might want to take a peek. Something else that I did is I haven't been playing a ton, man. I haven't had a lot of time. Um, I don't know why. I just haven't had a chance, and I kind of go through spurts where I don't really dig a game, and I'm not really playing a lot. But I finally beat one. Took me a little bit of time, but I finally beat RoboCop, Rogue City. This is a game that came out in 2013. Picked it up last year, I think it was. Uh, Not this past Thanksgiving or Black Friday, but the Black Friday before that. Got it on sale, and I finally beat it. Really cool. It's kind of budgety, but at the same time, a good. You know how they say like AAA games. Well, this is like a double A, but with a lot of polish and very cool. Some jittery stuff, some kind of graphical stuff every now and then, because it doesn't have that AAA polish, but really cool. I really enjoyed it. Story was kind of predictable, but what do you expect from RoboCop? But the way it came together was really good. Typical stuff that you would think you can do. You go around just blasting people away. There's a bunch of like the little tropes. You get to see that big robot that was high on narc or nuke or whatever it was called. Uh, you get to see some recaps and people mentioning like the old CEO or whatever he was, Dick Jones, and you just see a bunch of little like nods to the movie. So it was really cool. If you're a RoboCops fan, this game is really cool to play. And I think right now it's probably the cheapest it's ever been. I think it's like $20 regularly, or at least when it's on sale. So Really cool game to check out. Noel, I know you're a gamer. I'm not sure if you had a chance to even mess around with this. Really cool. There's even a part where you could shoot the guy in the dick and you get a trophy. Because that because that's a
What
famous
the
part
heck?
from the first movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the first part of RoboCop, the movie, there's a part where he's using that radar, whatever cybertronic grid, and then he aims toward in between the lady's dress and then shoots the guy in the dick. You remember that from the first movie, Andy, or am I making
Yeah, I
this up?
remember that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
okay,
remember.
yeah,
Yeah.
that bald
so
headed guy. Yeah, he was
yeah,
like robbing a gas station or something.
yeah. So
No,
if you
he
do,
was trying to assault this woman, like he was in a raper, and then RoboCop came up and he saved her life
yeah,
from the
for
first one.
sure. So there's a trophy if you do that same thing again. So yeah, it was really cool. So really cool game. Did you even hear about this, Noel?
Oh, for sure, dude. I actually bought this one a while back. I guess I never discussed it on the podcast, but yeah, I ended up beating this probably over a year ago. And then it came out for free on the PS Essentials or whatever, PS Plus. And now it's on sale online on Steam. Ended up picking up on Steam because they came out with it was supposed to be a DLC, but it's a standalone game that's like a sequel to that first one.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm gonna be checking that out. But I actually really dug it too, man. I didn't have that high expectations going into it, and for being an Unreal Engine game, I thought it ran pretty well. It looked great for sure, and I got what I wanted out of it for the price point, because it was like under $40 when I bought it. It was like, I don't know, $30 or something like that. And I wasn't expecting too much. I would say it's like you said, it's like a double A game, but it was like polished up pretty well. And I didn't experience too many issues with it in terms of bugs. I think I had one bug and I just had to reload the game and it was fine. And the story was like, you know, it was all right. What I did like is it does continue with the story of the movies. So if you watch the movies, you'll fit right into that. But it was cool.
yeah. I think it's definitely one of those cool games that if you're a fan, you should definitely check it out. But yeah, that was RoboCop. Something else quick that I did is I watched the movie The Sinners. I think you mentioned, Noel, that you've seen this one, or I think you recommended it to me because I saw it a lot in my feed.
Yep, yep.
And finally had a chance to watch it. This is a new movie that just came out last year, but really cool supernatural horror movie. Um, that's from like the early 1900s around Mississippi and Chicago, and it's this twin brothers that they're trying to open up some kind of new like music joint to have music, drinks, and kind of expand and use some money that they ended up getting from really suspicious ways. But yeah, the movie at the start, I didn't really know much about it, so I didn't Google it. I just kept seeing it, and people kept telling me to watch it. I watched it. I didn't even know what the evil or the bad guys were going to be until it was like halfway through the movie, and then you finally realize what it's about. But really cool. I really dug it. To me, the best part of it was the music, to be honest. I think the way they did music and kind of expanded on it, made it to the time of the 1900s, but also modern at the same time, was really cool. It wasn't like in your face, like if you were watching Al Capone, but then there's hip hop in the background. It wasn't like that. It was like a good way of bringing it in, and maybe it's because they're trying to open up like a music house or some kind of like party house. So it kind of flows with the movie and it makes sense. So I really dug it. I really enjoyed it. Noel, yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but you did watch this one, right?
Oh, 100%, man. I remember recommending this to you guys. I ended up buying the 4K. I think it was a Steelbook. One of my favorite vampire movies at this point. And yeah, you're right, man. The music was really cool. It had that blues vibe, but it also brought in like a modern style of it for a moment. There's a scene where they're doing some kind of like, it's almost like they're in a trance. Do you remember that scene?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
it brings in that music, and then that's when they get a track like the monsters essentially of the movie get attracted to that area because they're like in this weird trance like state.
Yeah, for sure, man. The beat was really cool. The movie, everything was really cool. Really enjoyed it. And if you're a fan, the other little cool thing about it is the actor, Michael Jordan, I think is his name. But the actor, he plays both twins in the movie. So it's really unique. Ended up after the movie, I was curious about how they did it, so I watched the like behind the scenes thing, and it was really cool how they pulled off to have both essentially two Michael Jordans in the same scene playing the actor. So it was really cool the way the documentary even went about how they try to make each character distinct. So they had their own mannerisms, their own outfits that made them unique to each other. Really cool movie. Really enjoyed it. I think at the end, it kind of, the plot to me didn't really hang in there as well as I would like, but I think it was still a good movie. If you go in with mild expectations, I think it'll definitely exceed that. But yeah, guys, don't want to go on and on about my stuff. Let's jump it over to Andy. And I know I spoke about football earlier, but why don't you recap us, man? The Bears. It was a late night yesterday. Fill us in on your thoughts, man.
Well, yeah, the Bears of this recording, the Bears beat the Packers in the wild card start of the playoffs. Um, they won the division. The number two seed in the playoffs, and then the first game was the Packers yesterday at home, Saturday night, and there was a just the way the whole year's been going with the Bears, man. They stink the first three quarters, and then they turned it on in the fourth. I was reading a stat this morning that the win is this Bears win's the largest comeback in playoff history. So, because they were down
Playoffs.
15 or 16 points, if I remember correctly. Um, but yeah, man. But like again, that defense, the first half, the offense is just. I think the defense is just horrible. I don't know. I mean, we've talked about it at length, Danny. It's just. I don't know. We'll see if they get hot. We'll see what happens. But I don't. To me, that's the season right there. You won the division and you won a playoff game, and then you won the playoff game against your biggest rival in the division, the Packers. And the Packers were talking a lot of crap this whole week leading up to the game. And, I kept saying the Bears are, and then the Bear Packers fans were like, they're lucky, they got a horseshoe up their ass, and you beat our back up, and like they're just making excuses after excuses now. Caleb beat him. He's 3-2 against the Packers above his 2-year career, which is crazy. Um, he's beaten them three times. But other than that, like, yeah, let's see what happens next week, and see what they could do because it's just nuts to see. It's been a long time, and I think they haven't won a playoff game since 2010 after yesterday. So uh, I'm content. It's a successful season. Um, we'll see what happens. I don't see them passing the next round. If they get the 49ers, maybe. It's either the Rams or the 40 or the Eagles, right? Or something. I forgot. If the Eagles win, uh they get the Rams or something, and 49ers win, they get the other team, but we'll see what happens. Um, but that defense is horrible, dude. Horrible. That first half, Jordan Love looked like a Hall of Famer, and then he's terrible in the playoffs. He's only won one game as Dallas like 2 years ago or something. Other than that, he stinks in the playoffs. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know you saw the game, Danny, Noel, chime in. Uh, you think that they can win the next round. I mean, with this, can they make a deep playoff run to the NFC Championship game? I don't see it.
I think the only way they can win it is with the luck that they've been carrying, where they just get enough good calls even by the refs, because there wasn't a lot of penalties in the game, but
Yeah.
the penalties that there were going the Bears' favor. So it kind of even brings that little nugget in the back of your head. I don't want to say it because I'm a Bears fan, but were they trying to help the Bears get further along in the playoffs? Because right now they are a big market where the fans are really rabid to for them to continue, and it's like a Cinderella story with the new coaching, a young quarterback. So it's got a lot of elements of what people eat up and to bring viewers to the playoffs and to the Super Bowl. So
Yeah.
I don't want to think it's that. So hopefully it's a lot of just good circumstances for them to continue on forward. But yeah, it's going to be tough. I agree with you. I think if they get Philly, because yeah, whoever's the lower seed, they're going to play Seattle, and then we'll get the other team. And I think the 49ers are the lower seed. So if the 49ers win, um, they're going to go up and play Seattle. But yeah, we'll see, man. Um, I think if we do get the Rams, I think we can beat them. If we get 49ers, we can beat them. If we get Philly, that's going to be tougher, even though we beat them. I think that would be a tough game to win. So we'll see, man. I'm with you. I think it's a great season, a great first step. Obviously, I want them to go all the way, but I'll be content with what they did last night.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even look at the line. I know Friday it was I think early last weekend, I think the Packers were favored by a point and a half. And then it turned into Vegas couldn't make up their mind. Um, and I think it was a pick'em game. So like they didn't. I don't even know when that means in gambling because I've never really ever really seen that. Um, and you're at home in a playoff. Usually, I mean, you get like 3 points right off the bat. But so, like I said, and then like the head coach of the Bears, Johnson, some of his play calling was off, I felt, and he was super aggressive. I think where he shouldn't have been, and like I think he should have ran the ball more early in the first half, eat up more of the clock. But I don't know, man. He was just throwing it everywhere. Like it's like this is definitely not your dad's Chicago Bears. They're slinging it everywhere. And the Packers came for some reason in the second half. The Bears all of a sudden were able to stop the run. Right, that guy is it Jacobs from the Packers? It looks like he was averaging 3 to 4 yards a carry. It was like insane. Even after the he gets touched, and then the Bears defense second half they couldn't get shit anything on running the ball. And I was just like, I don't know what's going on. Like none of this shit makes sense. But hey, man, bear down. Let's see what happens if they keep going. Make a hell of a run. But this season I think it's successful. Let's see what happens, and hopefully they can keep the momentum going. But sometimes that with that D, yeah, I think they have a better chance at. I see them. I mean, they can beat the Eagles. Uh, the Rams because the Rams were losing that game, right? And I was just like against Carolina, and then I can't even see them beating the 49ers. That came down to the wire too, and it was a road game. So right now, whoever they play next, they're playing in Chicago. So we'll see. Unless Seattle loses or something, then man, you might have all home games. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Did,
But
did you watch it, Noel? I know that in my house, just because of all the playoff fever and the Bears making it to the playoffs, Alana was really interested and watched it. So did Junior, even though Junior's not the biggest football of fans, but he was really invested and watched the entire game, and he was into it, man. He was into the excitement of the final fourth quarter for sure.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah, I had intentions of watching it at work. Everybody was hyping it up. They're like, "Bear down, go Bears," all that. I was like, "Yeah, let me watch it." It's on a Saturday, which is unusual, but unfortunately, I was playing Horizon Forbidden West, and it got away from me. And then I was like, "Oh shit, it's 10 o'clock," and I'm like, "Let me see who won." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, it's over." They won though. They won in the fourth quarter. I saw like they came back like a crazy deficit, and I was like, "All right, man, this must have been an exciting game to watch." I got, and so yeah, the last one they did with the Packers wasn't that into overtime as well?
Yeah, and it was like uh, a big throw by Caleb to DJ Moore, and then for them to get the go ahead in this game, it was another throw to DJ Moore, and then the defense got the stop at the end barely, right? I was like, it's when he was just like standing back there and he threw that Hail Mary, and I'm like, here we go. And it landed right in, was it Gordon's hands and he dropped it. I'm like, at least catch the damn ball, you know? But anyways, yeah, like what's funny, Noel, is you were playing like there's all these videos that pop up in the next that night or the next morning. People are like in like local concerts in the city and they have the Bears game in the background while they're doing their music thing. And they pause. You can see them stop playing music because everybody's watching the big screen in the back to watching the Bears game. It's I seen that for the both the Packers game, the last couple Packers game, and this one yesterday. It was, I think Bill Murray has like the actor has a group, and he was doing some show, and he had the Bears game on the big screen in the back while they're playing music, and they're all watching when the final drive in the at the end of the game, which was I thought was just hilarious.
I saw I saw a meme of a Packers fan watching the game, the one where they lost in overtime,
Hmm.
and I could just see them little by little, the rage increasing and increasing. And for the Bears to win yesterday against the Packers again, and now get them like their season's over. They have to pick up the ball, go home. That already, as a Bears fan, should be like
Yeah,
great. So
no, exactly. Like, and with these two wins this year, um, and then they had a win at the end of last season. The Packers fans used to be like so cool and chill. They're like, oh, good, they were like cool. Now that they're losing, they're like total fucking assholes. Like, I'm shocked the 180 they've done, and we'll see what happens. The Just definitely the rivalry got renewed big time because you see the talk show host from Milwaukee, the radio stations in Wisconsin just talking. It's being like real dismissive of the Bears. So to me, that's a really good thing. They know that the change is coming. They're scared of what they're seeing after they had a nice run and it looks like Detroit's windows closed because they fired their offensive coordinator. And then a little bit before we jumped down, I was watching some of the NFL Network and ESPN. They were talking about LaFleur's job is in jeopardy because he's coming into his final year of his contract, and then they haven't like he's hit the ceiling. Like they can't win in the playoffs and they have decent runs during the year, but he has a big winning record, but in the playoffs it's something different. And then this collapse, the two collapses against Chicago, and then this one in the playoff is historic. Like it was the first time the largest deficit any team has come back. So they think his job's in jeopardy, and we'll see. Like I said, it's to me, I think, yeah, he had a lot of injuries, but when you're going into that final year, any sport, baseball, basketball, football, it's not a good thing if you're not extended, because the players are like, I mean, the mentality is the players like, oh, he ain't coming back if he's not extended because you always get fired. And now there's rumors that the old Ravens coach Harbaugh might go to the Packers. It's like the rumors is like the Packers are, but early on it was the Giants, but now everybody's saying the Packers all of a sudden. So I think because they have a new president. I think I was hearing that he didn't hire him, so we'll see. Like his job's on the line. So um, yeah, I think he's gonna get fired personally. Like the two Bears losses this year, and then they see what's happening here in Chicago. I mean, like you don't want to talk about next year, you don't want to talk about now, but with Ben Johnson and Caleb and the offense, now they just got to work on that defense. We'll see what happens. It's going to be interesting to see, and the shakeup in the NFC North is coming. It's coming fast because I think even the guy in Detroit, is it Campbell? I think his time's going to come up soon too. So, any final thoughts on the Bears, guys?
Yeah, I wouldn't get too ahead of it. I mean, Ben Johnson's doing good this year, but Lafroy or whatever the heck his name is, he came out his first couple years really hot as well. So it could just be a tough patch. Usually when teams are playing well, they tend to just let people leave the organization because they think they're like invincible. And, sometimes they get rid of key players, and those key players are needed for your team to succeed. So, uh, yeah, I mean, just look at the trade to get rid of a lot of their defensive players on the Green Bay side. So, yeah, we'll have to see. But it's really excited to be a Bears fan right now.
Yeah, like I said, it's exciting. And one more thing, the Packers thought they were going to be contenders this year after they got Micah Parsons, and one of the reasons Dallas got rid of him is he's injury prone, and then he got injured. So they thought with him they were going to go to the next level, and it didn't happen. So, but hey, man, Chicago's still in the playoffs. Let's ride the wave and see what happens, man. The Bears, it's been a while since we've seen this, and let's just fucking ride the wave, and we'll see what happens. But let's switch it up here. The guys earlier were talking about some games. My article is a little bit about gaming, so let's go to our article of the week. So this article popped in my feed when I was gaming more on the PS3 and PSP and all this stuff. Even when they released all those NES minis and Super and Sega, like even arcade one-ups, for some reason those were able to be well, the PSP was and the NES minis and arcade. You could jailbreak them technically and add more stuff. So PlayStation's always been a bit of a challenge, but there was an exploit trigger on the PS5 and PS4 that if you have this game, Star Wars Razor Revenge, you can use that to exploit jailbreak your PS5 and PS4, and the game has jumped, according to the article, 1,000% surge in prices for the obscure remaster of a 24-year-old Star Wars racer, and so the PS5 and PS4 jailbreaks have been possible for years, but most of them have some serious caveats requiring you to start from a console running old firmware. An exploit called Master One Core allows hackers to jailbreak these consoles through a modern firmware series. The one problem is that the Master Guide requires you to own a PS4 version of a PS2 game, Oakage, Shadow King, which is a digital only release. But now with uh, this game, the Star Wars Racer, what is it called? Star Wars Racer Revenge. Someone was able to hack it, and all hell broke loose. Um, and it said that they had estimated less than 10,000 copies of this disc out there. Prior to the news, the exploit making the rounds, the Racer Revenge were regularly selling for about 30. Now the sales have exploded, and some prices reaching us to 300, and some has gone up to four. Um, and I saw another thing on it that with this exploit, you could load. You don't even need the disk like previous, jailbreaks. You just load it into uh, the games that you want to play, or retro games, current games. You put it on your hard drive, and you can just start playing. Um, and I was watching this guy talking about that Sony has a real issue because this is not a software issue. This is a hardware issue, and this is like a really true jailbreak. So to me, like I still retro game. I use my PS4 more as for movies. I played some games here and there, but rarely. I do have NES Mini. I was telling Dan I bought one recently that has been modded to fit. The guy had the whole library in there, and I paid like $60, and I got a couple other things. But I think for gamers now, jailbreaking your systems is I think it's not as techy. You don't even be a nerd to do it. It's getting a lot easier to install stuff on there. Um, is this something that you guys have this game, or is this something you would be interested in doing with the current PlayStation 5, or even trying it on a PlayStation 4? Or are you just comfortable with running games on emulators on older models, or even like Arcade One Up? They have been jailbroken and been modded and put emulators to run games on those systems. So again, like, is this something that you guys would be interested in, or are you just cool just playing mods, or depending, I guess, on the system that you have a favorite uh favorite that you want to play. Like I like playing on Nintendo and Super Nintendo, so those are really small files. But I know as you get into like N64, PlayStation, and PlayStation 2, those take up a lot of space. So again, was that something you guys would be interested in doing, or do you think I'm gonna just buy digital copies or buy the old disc?
Well, for me, it's a little complicated because I have a PC, so it could probably do it better than the PS5 would do it in terms of running emulation stuff. Where I could see it really being beneficial is if we can somehow get the PS5 games to run on there, so we can get those for free essentially.
Yeah,
And you can
I
just
think you
download
can do
PS5
that.
games. Yeah,
Yeah. I
that
think what the
yeah,
guys talked about said you can do that with this hack or that jailbreak or whatever.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
What about
to
you,
me,
Dan?
I don't think I'm interested in this PlayStation 5 exploit. And from what I was reading from a couple other articles, because when you sent this, Sandy, I was just like, yes, I had just heard about this a few days ago. Some of the other articles that I was reading, and maybe it's that this thing is really evolving really fast,
Mm-hmm.
but that the thing is opening up the possibility for the homebrew community, but that there wasn't a ton just yet. But yes, eventually it's going to open the gates for all kind of emulators. But I've done emulation on systems before. I did my Wii U with emulation. The only problem is that if you don't do it regularly, I'm not some kind of master hacker. So if I don't do it regularly, I forget how to do it. And then, a year, 2 years go past and I want to upload something or I want to play it. And now I got to remember what are all the steps to get this thing to work again. And I basically have to go down the rabbit hole again. So I think the difference with this, kind of like you mentioned, Andy, is that this is hardware based. So maybe it'll make it easier. I'm not really sure. But Sony has been aware of all the exploits in PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. Notoriously, the web browser was one of the exploits that people would use to hack those systems, as well as like the USB
Mm-hmm.
transfer of games. Saves was another exploit for them to get inside and insert kernels and stuff to be able to hack those systems. And those are two features that were removed from the PlayStation 5. So the PlayStation 5, the only web browser it has is the web browsers that are launched from the game itself. as well as the USB for transferring game saves. That's not allowed on PlayStation 5 games. So yeah, they've done what they can, and I think it's made it quite a few years without it being hacked. So this is the first time that it sounds like it might be possible. But yeah, I'm kind of with Noel. I think the PC community, it gives you more avenues, more power, more possibilities, easier way to create file structures and be able to get in there. But yeah, I guess if you want to do some gaming on the couch, this might be a good alternative.
Well, that's why I said, like me, I gu- I guess I'm a more of a retro gamer, so I've bought the HDMI sticks and all that, and the older games run great, like, with the emulator that they have in there, like the Ataris, the 2600 NES, Super Nintendo, Sega, Game Boys, Game Gear, all that crap. Once you start getting into the PlayStation and N64 and higher, a lot of it's weird. Some of it doesn't run right. It gets stuck. I don't know if that's like a processing thing, or it's just the emulator can't handle that much, or it's the hardware, which I'm thinking that, and I don't see why I guess the PlayStation couldn't handle that. But again, I get it. Um, the problem is not a problem, but there's always people looking to, and then with the digital downloads now, so I don't know how easy it is to find. I'm like way out, like I don't download torrents or anything no more, so I don't even know where you get game files, like let's say to download, and then you can pop them in there. Like where would you even go, or how'd you get them? Um, so like I said, it's I mean, are they still like torrent places to download stuff?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know about the modern, like you said, Andy. I know back in the day for Super Nintendo, Nintendos, and you'd find the
Yeah.
ROMs, and
Hmm.
maybe it's just that they've been around for a lot longer, so maybe you could find sites that have this data a lot easier, and where some of the newer stuff is a little more difficult. You got to get the DVD image or whatever to upload. So yeah, it might just be that these are too new and it's more difficult to find these games.
Yeah, like I said, I know in the Steam deck, and they got a lot of old stuff, and then like they're all trying to control their old games, like Nintendo and Sega, all those publishers, and they know there's money to be made there. So yeah, I mean, Sony is notorious for like they're always trying to say their stuff's not hackable, but let's see what they do. I don't know. And to me, uh, just the homebrew community, as Danny said, that's a word I haven't used in decades. That they're always out there working, trying to get free to get your systems to do more, and to play with your quote. And I have this in air quotes, your backups, right? So, uh, this is gonna be interesting because the guy did say, I watched, this is not a software issue. You can't patch this. This is a hardware issue. Um, so. No, we'll see. Let us know at FFN Questions is something you guys would do, or if you guys jailbreak everything, every freaking purchase that you got. And to me, it's always been fascinating when I used to game more regularly when I was younger, especially with the PlayStation 2 with the old disc swap. Do you remember that, Danny? You had to get a Game Shark or something
Right,
to do all
right.
this other, you modify your console, and then the hard drive stuff, and like it just keeps evolving. And now I know there's websites out there where you could play old Nintendo games and Super Nintendo, but I don't want to play them on a keyboard. I want to play them with the controller. Um, so we'll see where what the homebrew people come up with. But I think you're right. This is evolving. You know how that when once this stuff gets out, people start coming up with all sorts of shit, and it starts moving fast. Um, so I wonder if they're trying to figure out if there's another game that has this that where you could do that. So I
I
think that's what they're probably searching for.
I did see some stuff too that this might not be the only game because
Yes.
there was some homebrew community places saying, you know, don't spend $300 on this game, that they're slowly identifying a few other games that may
Mm-hmm.
be usable, especially because this one's really limited. It's not
Mm-hmm.
only that it's an old PlayStation 2 game, but it's really limited. It's done by a company, I think, like in Europe called Limited Run Games, and they, just like their name implies, they don't make too many of these. They kind of basically make them to order. I think their business model is that they put up pre-orders, and depending on how many people want it, then that's how they determine how many they're going to make of the run of that game. So yeah, there might not be that many copies out there, but yeah, from these articles that I read, it looks like they're they're trying to identify other
Yeah.
games that maybe they can do the similar
Yeah.
exploit.
That was one of my things is like, oh, they found one. They're gonna start going in there to see who made it, what's in there, and they're gonna try to identify some other games that might have that exploit or whatever it needs. Because I'm like, there's not just this one game like out of that massive library, right? So I'm pretty sure there's gonna be more that are slowly gonna start trickling out. So let's see what Sony responds with. I haven't seen any type of a response. They normally don't with this type of stuff, but we'll see.
Yeah, for sure, man. We'll definitely have to see, and everybody out there, I guess we'll have to see next time we talk, man, because that's it for this episode. We'd like to thank you all for listening. Remember to follow Freeform Network on Facebook and X at Freeform Network. Send in your thoughts, your questions. Are you in the homebrew community? FFN questions at gmail.com. Visit that webpage, freeformnetwork.podbean.com. There you're going to see all the latest stuff, all our latest episodes, all the links, and all the different podcast services that carry us. I mean, we're climbing up there, Andy. Man, we're like 260 plus episodes in there, so go check them out. But for Freeform Radio, my name is Daniel. Got with us today Andy.
It's all good, Andy, and hope everybody had a good New Year and bear down.
And we got Noel.
Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us for that another episode here. Really appreciate you all.
Yeah, for sure. And again, this is Daniel. Hopefully by the time this drops, the Bears are still in the playoffs. But we'll just have to see. We'll catch up with you guys next time.
That was cool, Dad.